All right. So what I'm actually going to share first is I'm going to share the stuff that Pam Sowdedr shared with us last night. Oh, look, there's someone. So what she did was, you can say hi. You want to say hi? There's Gabe. Okay. So what this was is I belong to a group that's called Push for Presidential, and so it's all triples in there that are going for presidential. And one of the triples in there actually reached out to Pam and asked if she would do a training Zoom with us, just so that we could get a lot of our questions answered and get some motivation and whatnot. So we thought that was it was really cool. It was really cool that she hopped on and did that with us. So what we actually did is we set up this Zoom. It was for 45 minutes. We submitted a list of questions to the gal that was hosting that set it up for us. And we basically she went through the questions and Pam just answered them very bluntly, very honestly. So it was pretty cool. So the first question, and of course this is what everybody's talking about right now, is somebody asked, are you worried about our volumes being down? Do you think there's a reason? Is it a seasonal thing? And what she actually shared is she said that as a company, our sales are the highest it's ever been. She said that there was a lot of people that their numbers on personal recruiting were up, and they had some of the highest recruiting numbers that they've had all year in September and October. And some had, and a lot were down. But overall, the company sales are up. What she also shared was that last year it took 100 hours to sell out of conference. This year we sold the same amount of tickets in 7 hours. So had we kept the same venue, conference tickets would have been sold out in 7 hours. Now they haven't sold out, and they actually are not going to sell out of conference tickets, because what they're doing is they're setting a certain percentage of conference tickets aside for new distributors that join between now and then. So new distributors, if they join between now and then, and if it says that conference tickets are sold out, they actually still have a stash for them. And when a new DT signs up, they have 10 days to decide if they want to purchase that ticket or not. I think there's going to be a certain point that if new DTs haven't bought those tickets, then they'll release them for last minute sales. So at this point, she said they're not planning on, they're planning on getting everybody there at a conference, and she didn't say that there was absolutely no pay-per-view, but she kind of hinted towards that it most likely wasn't going to happen unless for some reason all these conference tickets that they have set aside sell out. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But I thought that was pretty cool that we sold out in 7 hours when it took us 100 hours last year. They actually, as a company, they have hired more internal employees than ever. In any given year, they've hired more this year. So as a company, we're really growing. We also opened in 2 new countries this year and have plans to open in many more countries to come. Their ultimate goal, which obviously is going to take probably more than 5 years, but their long-term goal is to be open in every single country. So that was just pretty promising to hear. And she basically told us that if your numbers are going down or your business isn't growing, it's because you're not working. And she was pretty, she did a lot of tough love for a lot of us last night, which I think was good to hear. Good to hear, but also hard to hear too. So that led into the next question is she asked us, are you building your business? Are you blitzing? Are you having wrap parties? She gave an example. So yesterday she said her and Kay, her daughter, were together for about an hour and a half. They went to lunch, and she said that in that hour and a half, Kay blitzed 3 people, and she does a very simple blitz. She just says, hey, you're very kind to us, or thank you for helping us. Here's a coupon. And that's it. And lets them look at it and lets them ask questions. And she said the restaurant that they went to, the waitress that they had was actually the manager at this restaurant. And it was, she blitzed her and they started talking and they asked if she had ever rapped before. And the gal was like, no, I haven't, but I've heard of you guys. She's like, there was, earlier this year, you guys had like a thing going on and there was like hundreds of It Works distributors from your company, like here at our restaurant. And she's like, and they were people were telling me what they were doing, but nobody really like shared what the product was or asked me if I was interested. And it was over 2 or 3 nights, she said. So they kind of assumed it was over conference, probably in February. But she said, so a couple of hundred distributors were in and out of this restaurant while this lady was here or working over that weekend. And not a single one actually handed her a Blitz card or asked her if she was interested in learning more. Which was really, really interesting to hear, because, you would think when you have all those people are asking, what are you guys all doing? And they might be, and she said, yeah, we were asking and people were telling us, but not a single person actually said, well, are you interested in hearing more? So thought that was pretty cool. And then like at the same time, I kind of kicked myself because I thought back to the restaurant that we went to, and there was other It Works groups there. And I remember our waitress was like asking us questions and all of that, but I don't know if any of us left a Blitz card, so like, dang, maybe it's her, who knows? Let's see. So one of the questions that was asked is she was asked, how do you work with your top 10? What do you do if you start working with them, they have goals and they're in your top 10 and you need them to be working their business, and then they aren't working or they drop off, or and this was in reference to a lot of these gals are really following the game plan very closely, and part of that game plan is working with the top 10. She said, if they're not with you, working with you, then they're not your top 10. She's like, you might have a top 3 and you need to go find 7 more, new distributors, not people that are on there. She actually said, do not reach out to your leaders and ask if they are with you. They either are or they're not. They should be letting you know. Their actions need to show this. If you want it, you will take action. So she was pretty clear about that. And people were kind of asking like, well, how do you let people know? And she says, you don't have to say a dang thing. If they're not showing up to their scheduled Zooms when you're supposed to be doing a coaching call with them, she's like, that's their loss. So, which is very, very, very true. The next question was, she was asked, what do you say to people who are actively trying to work but aren't enrolling people or are not having their growth? And her response is, there's something that they're not doing. And it might be that they are having the conversations, that they are having the parties, that they are having people come, and then it may be in their wording. It may be in how they're talking to that person. And she said, go back to asking them to send you screenshots of the conversations. If they're having those conversations, most of the time it's through Messenger or something, or text. So they should be able to screenshot those messages to you. If for some reason they say that they're doing it via phone call, ask if you can do a 3-way call or a Zoom or something with them to help coach them through that. She said that a lot of times people say they're working because they're posting on Facebook. Posting is not asking, and it's not the same thing as working. And then she also said there's nothing wrong with asking, especially if someone likes or comments on a picture. So it doesn't need to be anything elaborate. It doesn't need to be anything, scripted or well thought out or anything. It just needs to be hey, I noticed you liked my picture. Thank you so much. Were you interested in learning more about the product, or were you just being kind? She's like, that's all it needs to be. Let them come back and answer. And she's like, you don't need to go into, do you want to be a distributor, or, do you want to order product? Just ask them if they were liking, because they were interested, and let them do the talking and just keep the conversation going. Again, she said people respond to you being interested in them. So it's interacting with them, liking and commenting and having conversations. When you are doing that, there's going to be a point where you feel comfortable asking them, are you open to taking a look at what I have to offer, what my company has to offer? She said asking them, are you open to taking a look, is how you get people to go from looking or liking to engaging and asking questions. So she said that's kind of where people kind of struggle, because they feel like they're maybe having interactions with people, but people aren't really, they're kind of stuck in this, yeah, I was kind of interested and we had a little bit of conversation, but nothing really kind of came of it. She said you need to get them to go from just being lookers to being engagers. And that conversation might go on for a while, but it's just continuously having it and getting them engaged. And it might be going back to asking them other things, not about it works or not about the product, to get them re-engaged if you kind of feel like they stopped responding to, if you've been asking questions, or if you've, like I actually, for example, I have a gal that reached out to me and asked me for green samples. So I sent them to her and I followed up with her 3 times now. She has not opened or read my messages. And it's been probably a month and a half. And it's like, well, what the heck? You asked me, for the greens. I sent them to you. Like, what's the deal? So I'll continue to follow up with her and whatnot. But what I've been really trying to do is I've been really trying to just go to her page more and be a lot more active on her page and just liking and commenting on her stuff, so that at some point she will hopefully open my messages and respond. And then, who knows, maybe she thought they were really gross and she doesn't want to tell me that. But at some point I'm going to tell her, like, it's okay if you thought they were nasty, just let me know that you got them. And that they weren't never, who knows, maybe they were lost, but I don't know. Anyways, she also said that, so when people, say that they're actively trying to work but aren't actually enrolling people, having them send the screenshots so you can help coach them, suggesting let's host a wrap party together, whether it's online or in person. Suggest let's go blitzing together, let's just do a power hour together, kind of get them in a spot where they need to show you what their action has been so you can help coach them through that. Okay. Then the next thing we talked about is one gal asked, what do you say if you are working, you are completing your steps to success, but your team isn't following and doing that as well? And she, excuse my language, she ripped ass on this one because she was like, it is not about what your team is doing for you or anything like that. She said, you are hurting your team by your thoughts. It's the whole thing of, what you think about, you will become. And it's the same thing for when you're working with a group of people or a team. If you have the thoughts that they're not working, then they're not going to work. But if you treat them as that they are that rock star team, they're your team and they're rock stars, and having that thought every day, they're going to be rock stars because that's what you're projecting out to them. What she said is your focus forms your future. So if you're focused on the positives and focused on everything that they are doing, all that stuff is just going to fall into place. But if you're focused on what they're not doing, or kind of distracting yourself about, well, so-and-so is not working, or so-and-so is not running an auto ship, or whatever, it's just like, that's just going to what you're continuously going to see happen. One of the things she said is that she really feels that this business is 10% sales and 90% mind over matter and self-development. She's like, we know we have an awesome product. We have lots of awesome products. We know we have a great comp plan. We know we have all these tools and resources. She said you can take the same exact 2 people, not same 2 people, but you can take 2 people in the same town that are working their business, and you can have one that can promote to ambassador during this time of year when everybody says it's slow, and the other person who is quitting and giving up because they say it's slow and they're not really working their business and they've got that mindset. You know, she's like, everything the same. You can say that they're both working the same type of job, that have the same amount of time, whatever. And the only thing different is their mindset, that one person's going to be successful and the other person isn't. One thing she suggested is, she said, if you're kind of out of sort, if you're not sure what you're projecting on your team, she said, take 24 hours. She actually told us that this was our homework and we had to do it. She said, for the next 24 hours, I want you to write down every thought that you have about your team or an individual on your team. And then after that 24 hours, reflect on what your thoughts were. Is it reflecting what you actually want, or is it reflecting your worries and your discouragements? You know, are you focused on those negative things or things that aren't happening that you want to be happening? Or are you just laser focused in, my team is going to be successful, I'm doing this and they're going to come with me no matter what? She also said that leaders should be doing some type of self-development daily. She said reading or listening to book on tapes. Her number one recommendation for any type of leadership, material, I guess you would say, is Jim Rohn, which I think we know. She said if you don't have the books or his audios, he has a ton of stuff on YouTube. She said you can listen to it, once a day. Listen to him. The other thing that she suggested is Leadership Excellence by Pat Williams. I can write that into the chat so that you guys have it. It was really funny because this was her actual sentence that I wrote down, because just the way she said it. But she said, if you say you are working, but it's not working, then you aren't doing what you should inside your head, because so many others are working and it is working. It's like, what? And so did everybody else. And so she had to repeat it like 4 or 5 times. But basically, she's saying what you're doing in here is keeping you from being active out here. And when you get this right, everything else falls into place. What she said is, so her quote was, what's going on the outside, figure it out on the inside. So she just kind of reassured. She says, you guys have the steps, you have the tools, the products, you know how to enroll distributors and loyal customers, how to launch distributors, how to host parties. That's all the outside stuff. If you feel like your business isn't working, it's the inside stuff. She said one of the things that she loves most about our company is we don't ever tell you what you are worth. You get to decide what that is. And kind of what she said is, again, it's a thought thing. And if you're feeling like you're stuck at a certain point in your business, is it because you feel that you're only worth that, and that you're not pushing yourself a little bit harder to get past that point? She said basically you need to decide that you're worth more, because they already believe in us by giving us a comp plan that basically has no ceiling limit if we choose to make it that way. One of the things she recommended is journaling. She highly suggested it. Which then, of course, this was last night. So then I was like, oh my God, I need to get back to posting those journal things in that group. And of course, I haven't done it yet today. Hey, bud, we'll be done in a little bit. Because she said journaling helps you get your thoughts right, because you can go back and reflect on your journals and how you were feeling. One of the last questions that were asked is what she felt the top 20 income earners did and are doing to be where they're at in the top 20 that other people aren't. And she said basically the reason they're in the top 20 is that when they don't feel like blitzing, or when they don't feel like hosting or rapping or working their business, they get out and do it anyways. There was one girl that went, it was triple or presidential, and like, I don't remember her whole story, but she was saying like she's been in the hospital and she's had like just all this stuff, life stuff going on, and she still managed to promote, which is awesome. And she's like, she could have used all of that as an excuse, but she just decided to continue working and get herself there. She also said that she always tells people focus on one promotion level at a time. You can't expect yourself to go from executive to diamond or, emerald to triple, just like that. She's like, focus on each promotion at each time, and it makes it a lot more easier. And then celebrate each promotion as well as celebrate your team when they're having those. Basically, she said, visualize what you want to achieve, because with our company, you can achieve anything that you want. So that's what we got, 45 minutes. It was pretty funny. She is no joke. Like she will sit there, like when she was sitting there and saying like things like, people were asking like, well, I'm working, but I'm not seeing my business growing. She's like, no, you're not. She's like, you are not working. And she's like, don't sit here and tell me that you are. And everybody's like, okay, I won't say that. But it was good to hear that too, because all the positive things that she had to say about where the company is at was just really reassuring as well. So, okay. So the other thing the biggest thing that we talked about on our triple Zoom the other day that I took away from it, that I kind of wanted to talk about with the team, is there was a triple, and I can't remember her name now because there was like 50 some triples on this Zoom. So, and everybody was kind of taking turns talking. So it got kind of crazy. But one of the things that one of the triples talked about her system for training new distributors. And I was absolutely just blown away by this, because I kind of feel like if I would have had this 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, I think things would be, I don't know, I feel like things would be a little bit different, because I feel like there's so many different ways to train new distributors, and it's hard to see that consistency. And once you get to a certain point in your business, it's hard to assure that all of your team is being trained. And it's not that they need to be trained in the same way, but you do need to see some consistency to make sure that they're getting those key points. So what this gal does is she has got, she's got a group page on Facebook, and it is basically everything's turned off. She has posts in there. People cannot comment on them. They can't, tag people in them, anything like that. They're posts, and they're all tasks. And so they're new distributor tasks, and she has them numbered, and they each have certain things that they have to do. And then there's when they do that, they have to like basically prove to their enroller that they're doing it. So for example, like one of the tasks was put the, It Works customer service number into your phone, screenshot that it's in there, and send it to me, via text message, whatever. Let me know that you did that. Then they can, be done with that task, and they move on to the next one. So basically what this does is it gives them all of their training, all of their tasks, holds them accountable, because they have to go in and do it, each one. And then they're not added to like our team page or anything like that until they complete this new distributor training. So it's kind of like, I kind of envision it like it's like a holding tank almost. New distributors go in there, they work their way through the tasks. When they're done with them, then we graduate them out, and they get to go into the regular page, where then they can, start getting more of the meat and potatoes and all of that kind of stuff. For one, I kind of felt like it keeps them from being overwhelmed, because there's not all that other stuff that's going on in that page. Stuff stays pretty organized, because you can't bump anything, because people can't comment on them. So it's not like you don't have to worry about them getting out of order or anything like that. And you know that they're doing it, because they have to show you that they're doing it. When I think for the It Works You, the training academy or something, I think she had some questions that she pulled out of the videos that they had to answer. And this was most of it was just all through messaging. Yeah, I know, bud.
At the time.
I know the time, hon. I'll be up in just a minute. Did you brush your teeth and stuff? brush your teeth and stuff. So I thought that was a really good idea. And what they do is they have basically the leaders on the team are all part of this group. And that's just kind of more for seeing who's in there and helping with that. So say like, Carrie, say you enroll a new distributor. You're going to add them to this group, and they're going to follow the tasks and show them to you. And then once they've done all these tasks, then you can take them out of that group and put them in the team group. And she gave some suggestions, or not suggestions, but she gave some examples of her tasks that are in there. But she obviously didn't go through all of it, and nobody expected her to do that either. So what I'm starting to work on is I am starting to create a list of all the tasks that I feel a new distributor should have. And so I kind of want, I don't want this to just come from me. Like, I think it should be kind of a team thing where, we develop this group and the tasks and get them set up, get that group page set up, and then that's just how we launch our distributors. I think that's a really, I think it's a really consistent way. But what are you guys' thoughts? You can unmute yourself, share. Whoever.
I think also, like, I know probably a handful of mine don't do the e-suite, the university, whatever. I know that they haven't done it. Maybe even if they want to relaunch.
Oh, for sure. Maybe one of the things that we do is, we tell all the distributors on our team, hey, if you're serious about your business, you need to go through this new distributor training that we have, not just because we want them to do it, but so that they know what it is. So when they sign up distributors, they know what their distributors are going to be doing. Yeah. If there's someone on the team who is newer, maybe doesn't have a lot of distributors yet, or maybe it's their first distributor, I don't expect them to be doing all of that training, checking on the tasks and stuff like that. They would team up with whoever their diamond or above upline is my thought process on it, because obviously we don't want every single distributor on our team in this group, because we want to just keep it to probably, my guess, I would say probably at the max, 5 to 10 of the leaders and people who can kind of be watching, and when somebody gets added to it, they get assigned to somebody, and most obviously it would go with whoever the enrolling distributors, if they're not a leader in that group, then their upline, whoever their next upline is. And if for some reason that upline has a ton because somebody's building like crazy, we've got Melissa over there who's got 15 new distributors or something, like, we're not going to expect Melissa to be doing all of that on our own. We'll then divvy it up between whoever else is on that group. And I've ran this by, I know Christy and Sherry and Sarah also want to be a part of this, but I also know they have a Zoom meeting that they do with I don't know, they're doing some coaching thing or something. And that's the same time as this Zoom tonight, but I think they're done in 2 or 3 weeks, and then they'll be able to join us on this Zoom. But so yeah, that's kind of my first thought for getting ready for the new year coming. I think now is a great time for us to get it together and for each distributor on the team to be going through it and, getting to know what the tasks are, covering all that. And then so that way when we really, really start to get busy, and maybe that'll be next month, who knows what they're going to bring out for the rest of this month and round 12, because from what I hear, they have some pretty crazy, awesome things up their sleeves. But that way we're ready. And I think that's a big piece of it, is getting people started off on the right foot to keep them excited and keep their momentum going. So yeah. Yeah, I know. I have been meaning myself to sit down and go through the e-suite training, because I think that they updated it a few months ago. And so, obviously, if we're expecting new distributors to be going through it, we should at least know what's in it. Maybe I should do that, but Well, so if you guys want to just kind of maybe each on your own come up with just a list of tasks, it doesn't need to be anything elaborate, just a list of ideas of what you kind of feel a new distributor should be getting trained on, and think of it as in their first, basically this is their first week. They don't have to have their launch party within this first week to get out of the group, but they have to have it scheduled. That's the one thing that they do with this group, is that they have to complete all the tasks, and one of the tasks is have a launch party. Obviously, we don't expect everybody to turn around and have a launch party within a week, but they have to have it scheduled. So, like, if that ends up being the last thing on their group or on their task list that they haven't completed, then we know that, and we can say, hey, you know, we need to get this done because you need to do this. So, and kind of, Melissa, what I was kind of thinking too is that I think having this type of task list versus a paper copy that we just hand to them is going to be a lot easier than the overwhelming packet that some of you may or may not have got, because I'll be honest, I haven't even handed it out or used it in a really long time, because it was a lot and it was overwhelming. But at the same time, how do we get this information out to people, you know, consistently and in a timely manner without making it too much work on ourselves either? Yeah. Anything else about that, or anything in general? Excited about new product?
So pumped. I have something that I'll share after the recording is done, but
Okay.
I am excited about the new product too, but I haven't even posted anything yet because I felt like all my posts were "it works" today, so I was like, okay, I have to wait till tomorrow, which is silly because, you know, like people who she was saying, like, people who don't feel like it do it anyways, but I don't feel like it's a matter of I don't feel like it. I feel like I'm not presenting the right balance of stuff I want to present. You know, when I get wigged out. And I feel like I didn't think this way until after the algorithm change. And after that, I've been like paralyzed, like, I don't know. You know, which is really just my own thing that I need to get over and be like, who cares what algorithms? Just do it.
It is, you know, what that actually is a discussion that we had on the triples meeting Zoom that we had. And almost every person, so Tiffany, her was on as our guest speaker. So she spoke for like the first 30 minutes, and the rest of the time was just kind of us discussing topics and getting ideas from each other, which I thought was really fun and really cool. And one of the things that Tiffany talked about, which we had talked to her about it before, but was the algorithms and the posting. But she gave a little bit more insight on it, and a lot of people spoke up. Pretty much everyone said post 3 to 6 times a day, brand yourself, keep it basically what they said is they said that there are a lot of it worse people out there using social media, so you want to make yourself stand out. So one of the gals who is really, really big on social media, and both her and her husband were on the Zoom. She said one of the things she did from the get-go before all this algorithm stuff came out was every time she posted a picture on Facebook or Instagram, she always framed it in a specific off green color. It wasn't like the It Works green, but it was kind of like a cross in between that, a little bit darker, with little scallops or whatever they are, the border around it. And she said she always did that. And so when people were searching hashtags and stuff, and stuff was pulling up, or if they're pulling up, you know, looking for wraps or whatever, when her pictures would pop up with the hundreds of others, they're going to see that green border around the picture where a lot of the other pictures didn't have it. And she said she's always stuck with that green. She has some team members that, you know, do colors. Some of them do like the zebra stripes or whatever. But she said somehow make it so that you're branding yourself so that you stand out to people when they are looking. And they said 3 to 6 times a day. And then they said basically find multiple ways to share your story. Sharing your story, frequently. Like she's like, you should be sharing your stories in some ways, either if it's bits and pieces of it or the whole thing or whatever, at least 1 or 2 times a week as one of your posts. Yeah.
D comments, I'm wondering how long the new packs will be available.
We don't know. They basically said either until they sell out or December 31st for the holiday packs. As far as the packs, yeah, as far as the packs that are not the holiday packs that are under the packs, there's like been nothing, no indication. My guess, just from conversations that I've had with other leaders, is we kind of feel like they're gonna kind of they're testing it out to see how well these packs sell and if they're popular or not. So,
You mean like the combos that are available right now?
Yeah.
But the new peppermint is a holiday pack specifically.
Right.
So,
Right.
Ooh, okay.
And what I heard with that, and there isn't anything on eSuite, and this came from an ambassador posted it on one of our leadership pages. The stuff that Christina Treat had shared, I don't know if you guys saw it in the Legacy Makers group. She kind of shared the price, how long they're available, all that kind of stuff. Earlier today, at some point, I think, I don't know, I looked at it, but I didn't look at it. I'm pretty sure it said on there that this new lotion and scrub and stuff is a holiday pack, and it's only available till the end of December. I don't know if they're going to continue to have it or if it's just a holiday thing or if they're going to see how popular it is. I'm not really sure. So I don't know. I'm telling people that all the packs are limited and that they could go away at any time. But the holiday packs, they have said either until supplies run out or December 31st. So. Good. Great. Any other thoughts or comments on either anything we talked about or the new product? Because otherwise I'm going to stop recording.